Alabama on the recruiting trail. Tommy Rees going to the NFL and an offer out there for a linebacker that could come to Tuscaloosa. Welcome to the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Let's get into all of this stuff. Thanks for hanging out with us here where we talk Alabama every single day. Roll Tide, folks. Let's get this party started. What do you say, everybody? With my friend Brett Elmore. You know him as Big Elmo. I'm Mick Gillespie. Thanks for hanging out with us here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. That's a way of saying Roll Tide. I'm at Broadcaster Mick. He's at Brett Elmore Show. What's up, dude?
Roll Tide. How are you, Mick?
I'm good, man. I mean, this is kind of I feel like we had just a flurry of activity over the weekend, and now we're starting to gear up for another big week in Tuscaloosa, or at least, kind of around the Alabama program. And, right off the bat, I thought Tommy Rees was going to end up at Georgia, but I don't think so anymore. What do you know about this?
Tommy Rees, multiple reports has him going to the Cleveland Browns to become the tight ends coach. You'd mentioned possibly going to Georgia, I guess, with everyone else, it seems like. But he's switching gears a little bit. He's played the college game literally as quarterback there at Notre Dame, then coaching for Notre Dame. Spent the year as the Alabama OC, where Saban nominated him for the Broyles Award because he thought he did a spectacular job, especially toward the end. But now it looks like he may want to try the pro game out, and the Browns are hiring 3 coaches on the offensive side of the ball, and the tight ends coach is one of those positions. And multiple sources say Tommy Rees is heading north to the NFL.
I thought he did a really good job at Alabama this year. Not a great job, but a good job. The offense got better as the season progressed. Jalen Milroe progressed with the offense as one of the best quarterbacks in college football. Still has a lot of work to do in his game, but won the SEC, got better and better as the season went on. Tommy Rees, a young signal caller. Yeah. And kind of the only reason he got shuffled out was just a coaching change, and you're bringing in guys who have a different style of offense. And DeBoer, who's going to oversee that, and obviously Ryan Grubb, his offensive coordinator. But Tommy Rees is good, and I think he's got a bright future.
Yeah, I think he has a bright future. And how would you like to be the offensive coordinator and you get into the season like we did this past season, and things just were not going well at all, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And but he kind of grew with the players. I mean, and I think, Coach Saban not only coaches the players, but also his assistants. And he developed into a really good signal caller, I think, and did a really good job toward the end. And like you mentioned, you can't complain much. The team won the SEC and made it to the playoffs. So not a lot to complain about. And he's got a bright future, and heading to the Browns is not a bad gig.
No, look, if Ohio State was looking for an offensive coordinator, I'd take him over Bill O'Brien any day.
Yeah.
He was way more creative. I like the RPO game. You could see him growing as a signal caller as the season went on. I would have liked to have seen him run the ball more in that Rose Bowl game. But just looking back at the entire body of work, I think the guy did a really good job, and I think that he's someone that's going to have a great career.
Me too.
So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'm also glad that he's not going to Georgia. I don't know why. I guess just
I'm tired of people going to Georgia. We're pissed off about that. People are going to Georgia left and right.
Yeah, everybody seems to be going to Georgia these days, right?
And there's nothing special there. I mean, T-Town's good, and But yeah, I'm getting tired of folks heading to the state next door.
Yeah, so we'll keep an eye on that as things kind of progress in that area, but it's definitely a good move up for him. Anytime you get an opportunity to go to the NFL, I mean, that's a big deal. And he did everything that you'd ask him to do. I mean, I think if he would have had another year with Saban and everything else, I think he would have had even more success. But SEC championship, get a ring for that, and move on to the NFL. Good luck. All right, let's talk about our next topic. Khalil Jacobs from the University of South Alabama Jaguars in the transfer portal, getting offers from other schools in the SEC, and sources say he's got an offer from Alabama. His former head coach is the defensive coordinator with the Crimson Tide. I'm guessing that Khalil is going to end up in Tuscaloosa. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Makes sense to me. Yeah, I mean, he's already used to Coach Womack and uh, the guys from Niceville, Florida. Put up some really good numbers last season: 56 tackles and 3 sacks, 3 forced fumbles, an INT, and that was all in his sophomore season. So uh, that would make a good addition to the linebacking core. I'm assuming they'll use him at linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I'm thinking too. You get these guys that come from the smaller schools, and right now, until they change the way that the rules are set up, you almost feel like some of these schools that are, a league under the SEC and the big time are almost feeder leagues. And I know that some of you are going to go, well, that's not fair and all that, and you're right, but that's kind of the way things are right now. So if he's out there and available, why not go with someone that you can trust, someone that you feel comfortable with, who's proven in front of you, and Coach Wommack knows this guy and likes him. And obviously, Alabama's had a lot of guys transfer out. It would be good to see another playmaker come in. So, we'll see if Khalil Jacobs is the next guy to join the Crimson Tide program. And I would think that it's a real option, because when you're taking over a program, you'd love to have some guys that you just know that you can count on.
Yeah, you're right, and there must be something there because there's some other big time programs after him. I mean, SEC schools and everything. So, must be something there. So we'll see how that pans out for the Tide.
Well, Alabama, 26 transfers in the portal, 10 after Saban stepped down, and no news on any guys leaving since. I guess the last guy to leave was Julian Sayin after, Alabama had Austin Mack commit from Washington. So that's where we are right now. And out on the recruiting trail, trying to get things done, is Kalen DeBoer. And he's out there with Coach Wommack out in my neck of the woods here in LA. We call it LA, Lower Alabama, South Alabama, trying to get some of the players. And one thing that Nick Saban did when he took over as head coach was he started to dominate the southern part of the state. And
Mm-hmm.
these guys are looking to do the same thing.
Well, it's encouraging just to see them hit the road and start at the grassroots, like you mentioned. You got to keep, and you hear this all the time. You got to keep your kids at home. You got to keep your in-state players in state. And so he's hitting the ground running. Obviously, he was at St. Paul's, which traditionally a very good program there in Mobile. And from what I understand, excuse me, he visited several schools down in South Alabama yesterday. So he has hit the ground running, him and his defensive coordinator, and they're out there beating the bushes and meeting not only, they're getting out there and, in front of everyone and meeting these coaches. That's a big part of it is you got to know these head football coaches in the state of Alabama and to meet with them and network with them. And that's kind of what he's doing. Well,
it's great to have Coach Wommack as part of that.
Right,
someone
yeah,
that's been in the state and knows them, and didn't have the power program to bring the guys in. But all I've heard, had Alphonse Taylor, in studio here with Jake Coker, and those guys couldn't stop talking about Coach Wommack, what he brings to the table, how much they liked him. And so having him as part of the staff, DeBoer, getting around, beating the bushes, I feel like the tide is starting to change, pun intended,
Mhm.
with all of the transfers that left, the guys that did not give Coach DeBoer a chance, that were out to, cash in on basically on I don't even know if it's NIL money, but just money to go other places. To me, NIL is you go somewhere, you establish your worth, and then people pay you because they want you on a commercial or they want you to come sign autographs.
Right.
I didn't know that it was that we're just, we have a trouble recruiting, so we're just going to pay you a bunch of money to show up. But that's kind of what it is right now, and that's the game that we're in. Um, with that said, Alabama lost some really important players to the portal, and it's good to see these guys out starting to beat the bushes. And great comments from Ryan Williams, who was in town last week, the 5-star out of Saraland, another South Alabama guy, that Alabama wants to get there. And if you're serious about playing in the NFL, if it's not about making money in college per se, but it's about the next level, Ryan Grubb is the wide receiver whisperer, and it would make sense that a guy like Ryan Williams would want to come and play for him. And it sounds like from everything that he's saying, he really likes this new staff.
Yeah, and I think we will end up landing him.
I hope so.
And you talk about some of the other recruits. Um, Jabbar Muhammad was in town. He talked about his visit. I just wanted to ask you what you think of this statement that he made, and I'll quote him on this. I think it's in a good place, honestly. Some of the players were chopping it up with me. They already knew who I was. It's a good environment. Just knowing how the environment is, I know that Alabama is going to be in really good hands. Does that say to you, hey, I believe I'm going to come to Alabama, or does that say they're going to be in really good hands without me?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hope it does. I'm still kind of up in the air on that. He's going to get a lot of offers for money, big money from Auburn and other places, and he's got to decide what's best for him, and I hope that that's Tuscaloosa. I think he'd be a great fit in this program. And if he steps in, I think day one, if he does the things that he needs to do, he's going to be a starter. I mean, he's going to be someone that's going to see a lot of footballs, and this staff has proven that if you got talent, they're going to figure out a way to use you. I'm just excited about what Coach DeBoer is doing. It just felt like last week all the momentum was against Alabama. Now you're starting to see that, that tide turn, and got some guys this weekend. I think some more guys are going to start to, commit to Alabama. I think they're going to win some recruiting battles. And then by the time we get to the 8A game, you'll have that. And then obviously you have the other window for the transfer portal. I think that things are going to be just fine in Tuscaloosa, but I really like Coach DeBoer. I believe in what he's doing. And I think that this is the point for him now where he's starting to get his feet under him. He's got his coaches hired. They're out on on the recruiting trail. He's doing the same thing. And that's a good turn for Alabama.
Yeah, it is, and we talked about him and his defensive coordinator, but what about the offensive coordinator in Grubb? Yesterday, he reoffered 5-star quarterback Juju Lewis. He met with him, just a key stop, and made sure the offer was still out there. So the entire coaching staff is out there, and they are putting in the work, and that's a good thing. And a key, I think, as we kind of wind down a little bit, is Tyler Booker encouraged, Tide fans to stay excited for the 2024 season. And he says, quote, I feel like we have everything in the house that we need to go on another national championship run. Everything is going to work out. He has the faith, and the Bama Nation needs to keep the faith too. I believe in DeBoer. And we're going to give this guy a shot, and I think he's going to do well.
Yeah, me too, man. And you guys get in the comments section. Tell us what you think. Great banter on there. Some of you guys aren't Alabama fans. But look, just bring a good spirit. We'll have fun with the debate. Love having all of you guys on the channel. And I can't thank you enough for being part of what we're doing here at the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel, because it's all about having a good time. Well, all we're trying to do is just enjoy some college football together. And obviously we're Alabama people, so we're just hoping that Alabama gets it figured out, and it feels like that's exactly what's happening. But roll tide, everybody. Brett, thanks. Always great hanging out with you, and we will talk to you tomorrow unless something breaks. And if it does, you know where you can find it, right here on the Bama Tailgate YouTube channel. Roll tide.